Justin was gonna put you in an ad block.
No, good.
Yeah.
I kinda wanted to see it, to be honest.
Since Lester put it that way.
You might wanna stick around, Scott.
Tell what I'm not.
No, you're welcome to stick around. We're just gonna roll this meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock and we'll get started. Mr. Committee, would you open us up in prayer real quick?
She's gonna do addition, we'll talk about it tonight.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for its many blessings. Thank you, dear God, for your Son Jesus. In him we have all hope. Pray, dear Lord, your help and your blessings upon each one that's meeting here tonight. Help us all to make the decisions, dear Lord, that would bring you the most honor and glory. Pray, dear Lord, that you would watch over, care for us all, and we'll be mindful to forever give you the praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, sir. All right.
She's got it on the screen too.
Huh?
She's
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That's a little far off for me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks, Joe. I see that one. I see that one better than I can see that. That's sad.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't print any this time, so.
Good, we don't need that.
Accept a motion for approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All right. It's not gonna be tough. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passed unanimously. With the minimal quorum, we're good. All right, as always, recognition of the public. Somebody wants to speak up or say something, raise your hand and we'll get to you when it comes to that. Approval of the minutes, I so move.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Commendon. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Oh, that's the one. All right. Sorry. My eyes. No, I'm good. It's just mine.
Bigger for you.
It's just sad.
Get control and scroll you both.
Just sad. I don't have a lot to say on this one. We've got a few things we'll start cleaning up over the next little bit, and obviously with the redistricting coming up, now that we know when the census is going to come out, what we've worked out with Miss Ashley before, and I think it's on there, but we'll just kind of address it for everybody, is when it gets closer and we actually start doing it, they're going to let us know exactly what they need, if it's a person, if it's a consulting, whatever it might be, and then what it is, they'll bring up and we'll get it addressed then. So I assume we're getting what, August 14th, Lori, so we'll know something for the September meeting, so we can start
Yes.
what y'all need, and then we'll get it
It
approved.
needs to be quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We will. Yeah. And then, and I guess since we got you real quick, did you want to say anything about the machines?
The voting machine?
Yeah.
I'm on the agenda. Do you want me to wait? Or?
Okay, we'll just wait then. Yes, sir. So,
I don't mind.
I was gonna say you're here so we can get you out of here.
Well, we've submitted a letter to Anthony. We'd like to request $1.5 million for new voting equipment. That would be the machines, the printers, and everything. And we'd like it to come out of this grant, and I had Annette write it down for me, the American Recovery Plan Act. And if we take the money out of that, and that's out of the 37 million, if we don't, or you guys decide not to, and they legislate this next year, then it'll have to come out of the general fund. So that's up to you guys.
Have you guys got that mixed up with the state COVID local recovery grant? Because
37.1 million?
the 37.1 million is limited to very few things in voting machines.
Oh, we know all about it. We've talked to the comptroller's office. The machines qualify.
I called them
Hold
all
on.
together.
Just to make it easy, what we'll do is, Ms. Denham, if you and David would research it, because I understand that the
Already have.
the federal government is coming out with the fourth of their rules about how we can spend the money, which is supposed to be out.
September.
Yep, so, yes, sir, Commissioner Mayor?
Well, let me say this, and it may qualify. We don't
If it
know.
changes.
We
Yeah.
don't know
We'll
if
wait
it
and
will or
see.
it won't. But here's what we're going to have to do before we get too far down the weeds. We know three things absolutely qualify no matter what: water, sewer, and broadband. We know that, no question. Everything else, we're going to have to hire a firm to vet this and work with the federal government, because here's the issue. The comptroller's office doesn't control our funds. It comes direct, it's a direct appropriation from the federal government. So we've got to make sure, and that 10% of that grant can be used for administration. My grant writer is out. She's had a baby. She could care less about dealing with all this stuff right now because she's going to take care of that baby for the next 3 months or whatever. And so my suggestion is let David work with a CPA firm so they can manage this project and we don't get in the weeds, in trouble, and we'll vet it directly with the federal government. Because in the end, here's the deal. Unless we want to give the money over to the state, the comptroller's office will not indemnify us. So if the money's spent wrong, the federal government will actually come in and claw that money back. We'll have to use local funds for it anyway. So the point is, we just want to make sure, and you know, we've had this conversation and I'm for it. I'm just saying we've got to make sure that these projects that are not just specifically written in the act, like the 3 I mentioned, qualify and the federal government goes along with it and we get a written response, because I do not want to pay a portion of $37.1 million. So,
Jason Mumpower, we've talked to him directly.
I know, but-
And he says it qualifies.
well, Jason,
Can you have him send us an email to that?
How about we do this?
Jason works for the state and we got to clear it with the feds
Yeah, and
because
that's
we didn't
the
get the money.
thing.
from
We
the
know
state.
at some point though, Miss Ashley's been telling us for about 2 years now, we're gonna have to buy some voting machines. We know it's coming. We're gonna keep kicking that can as long as we can until we find a funding source. Let's wait and see. We'll figure out what that 4th installment of instructions has to do, and then,
September.
yeah, if that gives us some clarity, we will, because thankfully we don't need the machines tomorrow or today, so we're okay.
Right.
And the
But
other-
we do, I just want to get in the minutes the fact that we do know we need the machines, and we
And,
can't keep.
and I
can't
think
put it
that
off
would
forever.
be an appropriate use of the money.
If it's allowed.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling everybody, we've got to make sure that we qualify through the federal government.
The only reason I asked about the state COVID recovery, because it would have qualified for that, but that's been spent on the highway and the IT.
And let's,
There's two
but we've got it in the
sources.
minutes, Miss Ashley, or did you want to have anything else for your
Just
part?
that these machines will have ViviPat, which is the voter verified paper audit trail, and that's coming
That's
down
the
the
big,
pipe.
yeah, that's what we know we have to get.
So it's pay it now or pay it later.
Right.
So I just wanted to put that out for all of you all.
Thank you very much. As always, you keep us informed and let us know what we can and can't get away with,
We don't
so.
think there's
Okay.
anything.
That's all I've got for mine, David, go ahead.
We have the letter from the state comptroller approving the budget on page 4 and 5. As usual, the only thing they did note is the highway was less than 1/12 of the fund balance, so they want us to send cash flows and annual or monthly financial reports, which we already do, to the county commission, and we have been sending the cash flows. So we will send those next month after the books are closed. Nothing else in my report.
Thank you, sir. All right, no old business, new business. We just need to, I make the motion we pass. This was a technology for the new Liberty Creek School.
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any discussion?
It's available within the bond proceeds, which is carried over on page 193.
Thank you, sir. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Next one is gonna be the Resource Authority.
Contract.
Would you like to, sir? Dave, do you wanna do it, or you wanna let them go first?
I can say either one. We met with Mr. Young and Mr. Wright. I think he's right. And Mr. Maloney. I didn't see him. I think we've met twice now to talk about the Resource Authority. The issue they have is, one, there is a huge growth in the solid waste that's been going on for several years. Right now, there is a long line at the solid waste. In addition, there's a large potential, or a good potential, that Hendersonville within the next 2 years will also fall in. If we continue on either of the continual growth that we've got or the large line, it will become pretty much inoperable within the next year or two. I looked at their projections. Based on what they showed me, they all look reasonable. There's no guarantees, but what they're requesting is the county and the 2 cities to basically, well, actually the county to issue $13 million worth of debt for them. The best way for us to do it is with the refinancing. Another part is the agreement that's handed out. Currently, there is an agreement that any deficit for the Resource Authority, the county covers 3/7, Hendersonville and Gallatin cover 2/7 each. So there's 2 parts, one an agreement between the cities for that. The next will be an agreement between the county and the Resource Authority for $13 million to issue the bonds for them. If you are willing to do that, a couple of things need to happen, talking to our financial advisor. One, the Resource Authority, the way we can do it with the refinancing, will probably need to have a special meeting, a special called meeting to do a recommending resolution. It would come back to the county commission, and then the county commission would approve it in September if it came back in time. what you would need to do to approve it in September, you'd actually probably, during your regular budget meeting, you'd probably need to have a special call to financial management at the same time at the beginning and have them to approve the financial advisors. If that was to happen, it could go on to the county commission in September. We could wait the 20 days because there's a 20-day wait period. And then, what would that be? October, early November, they could issue the bonds and we could do the refinancing at the same time, which would save us some money. Looking at the numbers, there's two things. One is they do look reasonable, and number two, looking at the logistical end with them, I think you're going to, unless there's something they can tell you,
Has
you're
any-
going to have a large issue.
Just before we get rolling, does everybody, I've been out there, I've seen it, I think we all, if you've seen it, you know how badly it is. They do a great job kind of explaining what we need, so can we just go with the disclaimer that we all recognize the fact that it needs to be replaced and upgraded? Are we okay with that at this table? Yes, sir? Okay, yeah. So with that being said, I think the more important thing is figuring out how we address it and fix it. If y'all are comfortable with it on the budget committee, because it's gonna be a 2 to 3 month process, what I'd like to do is for us to approve the beginning of it here with the idea that we roll it over to the full commission next, if they're available this month or next month, for them to come and do a presentation for all 24 commissioners, answer all the questions, and then if the commission approves it that night, we continue forward with the budget, what we've got going on budget. The only reason I said we started tonight is because it's a 2-3 month process. So if we wait until the full commission hears it, we'll be behind the 8 ball on that part.
Probably the best way to do it is to make sure that we have it available, because if the rates start changing, we're gonna have to go ahead and do the
That's,
refinancing.
we don't need to wait too long.
So,
And that's kind of.
and we'll have to do them separately, and it will cost more, not significantly, but will be. So the best thing would be to ask the Resource Authority to have a special call meeting, send the resolution over to you guys in, what's next month, September, and then go ahead and do it in September. But probably this month, you would want to get the ball rolling with maybe an
And
agreement.
that's what I was gonna say, if we could approve this part just to get it going, with the idea that the full commission's gotta approve it, obviously, but if we wait until the full commission gets it, we might lose out on some of the rates that we've been getting, and I don't want us to do that because that's millions of dollars difference, obviously. Mr. Junk, would y'all be comfortable presenting this month or next month? Which one do you think?
Take your pick.
I think it needs to be this month if at all possible.
Okay,
We've got to
if
get,
we could put you on the agenda for the full commission, and then that way it gives everybody,
Talking about Monday night?
yes, sir, and that gives us a week to let everybody know, so we can get a lot of, get some good, healthy discussion
You
about it.
really need the agreement for the county commission this month, we can get the ball. We'll need the agreement for here to go to the other cities this month, and then we'll need the actual, which Leah's got right there.
this is basically, and this was in your packet, this is the contract that we would enter into with the cities to make everybody understand that the Resource Authority's goal is to pay this back themselves. But if there is a shortfall, the 2737s that we have, everybody understands that they'll have to pitch their part in.
We're financing it for them, so to speak. Ms. Denham, yes, sir, go ahead, Mr. Ben, then
Well,
Mr.
no,
Mayor.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, go
I
ahead.
just got a comment that I know you wanted to, not yet probably.
No, go ahead.
But in the last, I am on the Resource Authority, in the last 5 years, the tonnage per day has doubled. And right now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, I think we're hauling 24 semi-loads a day to Smith County. 20 to 24 a day. And also, we've already bought the property, an extra, 12 acres that we have for this to sit on? 7. Oh, 7.
And then, in addition, when they do start doing it, it'll be something that won't necessarily impact us, but they'll have to operationally, they'll have to increase their staffing and do some things because they're gonna have the old stuff still there too. So, yes, sir?
I'm fine, I understand the need. Here's my concern, and I'm gonna say this again, I've said it to David, and I'll say it to the budget committee. First of all, we gotta know how we're gonna issue these. We're gonna roll the cost of the issuance in the bond. We need all the details, but predominantly, the county attorney may have a different opinion. I haven't discussed it a lot with her than I do, but I think the two cities, our partners, need to be on this bond document. Because in the end, they've got to be responsible for paying their portion. And I very seriously doubt if the Resource Authority, and they may be able to do it, but I'm just thinking very conservatively, they'll be able to service the entire debt. Probably the county will have to pick up the pieces and the two entities. That's my guess, and I'm going to be very conservative when I say that. So I want to make sure that the cities are responsible for their portion, and without them being on the bond document, then you could get into a lengthy lawsuit trying to make them pay for it. Whereas if their credit's on the line, they're not gonna do that. Because once your credit gets trashed, then anything you wanna do in the future, you're gonna have to pay a higher price for it. So I just wanna make you all aware of that. That is the safest way to do it, and David, you correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know that that's possible. I mean, it's possible.
I
but
think it's possible.
It's possible, but I'm not sure, because I don't know about how they're borrowing capability.
Well, Gallatin's got a AA plus. We have a AA plus. I don't know the exact nature of Hendersonville, so we're
Well,
gonna be.
it's not that
safe.
it's the limitations that are placed on it because of, I don't know what, we'll have to talk to Julianne and bond counsel.
Well, we'll have to figure it out, but I'm just telling you that if you're not careful and things go south, then we could possibly end up stuck with the burden.
Talking to Leah, David, at the very least, we need this contract and then another contract agreeing that part of the deficit would include the bond. In other words, we're making sure they understand that
Yeah.
the bond does go into the operations of the resource authority for the 3 and the 2/7, and it doesn't stand alone.
And of course, the reason we're doing this, if the Resource Authority had issued bonds on their own as standalone, the interest rate would be substantially higher and we'd have to pay for it.
And you're still gonna have that 2/7, 3/7 responsibility.
But if they did that, there would be more of a guarantee that the other entities would have to follow suit because it'd fall back on them. I'm just telling you, I don't want to get the county in a position where you have the other entities disagreeing to pay for it, even if we have a contract, that could easily be done. And then we get in this long protracted lawsuit. I want to make sure that everybody's in agreement and it gets passed and we all go in this together. That's my concern. I'm just trying to look out for the county and the taxpayers in the county. I just want to make that,
How about this? I
Straightforward.
make the motion that we move forward with this process so that it can go to the full commission for a general approval, with the details being worked out over the next month or so with the cities to again come back to us, through us, back to the full commission for a final approval.
September, you'll have to have the full bond resolution. Or you're gonna have this agreement, but the bond resolution will not be.
Well, and hopefully, and that's to say, if we've got the if we can do the in August, get the general approval so we know to keep moving forward with everything, let Ms. Denham work out the contracts, and then find out if we can put them on the bond. If we can do that, then we'll have the final approval in September, which will be the approval for the bonds and also the process that we're gonna go, so that way we can make sure everybody's comfortable with all of it.
But you need to forward that.
Will that work, or is that undoable?
But you need to forward that contract tonight to the commission.
Yeah.
part of the bond.
And this is the quick response I've gotten back from the bond people, is that it's a totally different type of bond issue. It would have to be issued by the Resource Authority and it would be a revenue bond issue.
Be a lot more interest in.
So we need to put safeguard, between August commission and September commission, we need to make sure we have safeguards in place to protect the county for the concerns the mayor has.
And I'll, that.
Let me
If we
ask you
can't-
this, Leah, could they issue their share of their own portion of the bond? That's the big difference.
And that's the big difference. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Is everybody, well, I've got a motion, is everybody comfortable going forward just to preliminarily get it on the agenda for next Monday so we can discuss it, with the idea that we won't finalize the details until September when Ms. Denham's had time to work it out, hopefully, and then we'll know if we do or don't, or do we need to do something different?
I'm
No,
fine
I
with
think
that, as long as
moving
they're
forward.
gonna do the presentation for the full
Yeah,
commission.
and that's why, so
Okay,
that, yeah, that way they can,
I think that's important that the full commission hear the
Oh,
presentation.
yeah, absolutely.
And they never move the first contract forward because no matter how it goes in
Right.
September, it'll have to go back to the commission because the resolution will have to go through.
That's what I'm saying, I mean,
The
we
full
can,
bond resolution.
we're just approving going forward
Basically.
and letting, giving a chance for everybody to hear it, and then in September, we'll actually have the details and know what we've got to make sure that we're protected.
You
Thank you, sir.
probably need to go ahead and request that the Resource Authority goes ahead and do the requesting resolution too. Have a call meeting, get it back to us. Yeah, you guys have to do one, that's what Julian said. we did.
Meeting next Monday anyway.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that's what, we
Yes, sir.
might need to contact Ms. Graham and get the resolution.
That's okay.
Hold on, go ahead, Mr. Young.
May I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
You know, we've got performance P&Ls that show all this. The thing about it, if they go up, we have a spread between what it costs us to dump it and what we charge. So I don't know what's gonna keep us from making money unless people quit buying trash. I mean, that's gonna be the thing. We're budgeting to make even the first year that it's open with 2 facilities, a little over $1 million. The bond payment's $700,000.
How many years? 20 years, 30
20
years?
years.
20.
How long is your contract, Smith County?
10. And that's longer than Murfreesboro's got.
At least
right
I
now.
know, I'm just saying, Jim, you always have to, I don't disagree with what you're saying, I think you've done an excellent job. But you always have to look at what the worst-case scenario is.
Oh, I agree, but like I say, and if we don't have any place to take it, it'll be just like me, when I walked out today and looked at my trash can, it had not been emptied. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And if somebody's got a big backyard somewhere, then that'll be great.
Yeah, go to page
So y'all
90,
comfortable
Jessica,
with
go to
that?
page 90.
Yeah, sure.
Page what?
So,
90.
9?
One thing you can say about the operation of the Resource Authority, a significant portion of their operations is passed through to the landfill. So if you look at 21, 22 of their 9.3 million, not looking, 6.1 alone is estimated to go to the landfill. So it will kind of, the loss has to be pretty large before it gets significant, but who knows, as you're saying, it goes past the grade.
Well, I just always want to be safe and I want to be cautious and I think that you're better off to do your due diligence at the first and get it right, because, you know, it's, you know, the interest rates are fairly stable now. We want to make sure we get it financed right, but we want to make sure that the entities are responsible too.
Mr. Nipper has a suggestion that might help us as far as figuring stuff out.
No, I think you're spot on with looking at 3 separate issuances, although, you know, the issue costs will be duplicative and the pricing may not be as favorable, but we could consider that. And then I guess, would it be worth considering the general issue bond you're talking about through the Resource Authority, just to comparatively look at what?
Well, their
what that
rates are
costs?
going to be substantially
Their
higher.
It's gonna
If you look
be
at that.
3 times as high? would
We've
you-
already
Yeah.
More, they have no history.
Probably.
But let's have those numbers though, that way we can present that to the.
And I think it's good to have
I
that.
think it's
Yeah.
good.
Could be-
But you got those, right?
But
The numbers,
just
what
so
it
that we
got.
can see the
Yeah.
scenarios.
Yeah, that should end up being taxable.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, so
only
Because we're
thing,
still paying 3/7 of
Justin,
it, whether they issue
you're
it or
right,
whether we
that's the only
issue
thing
it.
that would get you is the issuance cost for 3 separate entities. But
Maybe
Especially
a
Henderson.
pretty immaterial price to pay though for that reassurance.
over 20 years, that's gonna be not as significant, if that makes sense.
For the
That's how
protection
it's
of
gonna
having.
be, yeah.
Does anybody have any more discussion?
I'll second that. I don't know if you're gonna second on that, Jess.
All right, everybody comfortable with it then, the way we're putting it forward? I know it's really clear for Jessica, so.
So we're sending it, the agreement to the commission, and you're sending Jim and them to talk to the commission. And
Yes, sir.
let
And then
the
that way they
commission
can
come
present,
up
and we
with
can kind of answer our questions and hopefully be ready for everybody to move
I
forward.
will say one thing, the Resource Authority, we've already looked at about 6 different scenarios over the past year and a half.
I would suggest bring it on
Yeah,
both.
bring
That would be
Comes up,
helpful.
We
Put
could
it
say,
in the
hey, we looked at that
presentation.
and that's not an option, so.
Well, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Ring, and Mr. Good, all familiar with it. And we've looked at railroads, we've looked at putting it on barges,
We have.
we've looked at burning it, and you can burn it probably if you put $100 million in.
Yeah.
Burn it.
We've been looked at dirt roads and they're not in
Well, that's where it's going. I mean, we don't know that.
Probably down.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. As always on budget, if something passed unanimously, we waive the second reading, so it goes straight through on the first time. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I know, that is so sad. Look at me. All right. Appropriations, County Mayor, go ahead, David.
The first one's for 3 starts, is the flow-through grant.
Pass through, we got awarded that from the
So moved.
state.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
The
All
next
right.
one's to do with the rails on the roof of the annex buildings. It's causing significant leaks. I think it's already been through their general ops. And the request from the office, I believe, is I'm trying to find my page here. Go back, I believe the request is for $200,000. It could be less or more than that, but that will at least get the engineering and stuff to determine exactly what it's gonna cost to do the rails as approved by general ops.
If you'd like me to discuss what we're talking about.
We're good,
No?
sir. We know
Good.
we need roofs, yeah.
Yeah, we
We've
vetted
talked
it
about
in
these roofs
general,
about
so.
4 years now.
Sounds
yeah.
good.
So,
Yeah, I don't want
So
to see poor
moved.
Mr. Goodman get on another roof.
I recommend funding from the local capital projects funders.
So moved.
Financing.
And a second. Any discussion, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
Whatever it is with broadband.
American
so moved.
Recovery, yeah.
Yes, sir. I
Go
think
ahead, sir.
this is our first big project we're proposing out of the Recovery Act money, 37.1 million. I'll get it right in a minute. $5 million for broadband. This was discussed with our broadband provider, which would be Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation. And they've got the, really what's left of the rural part of the county. We've had discussions with the state. If we're willing to commit this much money, the state will finish out their project within most parts of the county. And what it'll do, it'll fast track it by about anywhere, depending on the area, from a year to 18 months.
So moved.
It's an easy one.
I do have
Second.
a question.
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
Is it gonna cover all the county?
No, it will not cover all the county, but according to Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation, by 2024, they'll have every part of the county.
Cause I got
So it'll-
AT&T version.
It'll,
Hey, listen, Mr.
It'll
Dominion,
fast
we don't
track
want
it.
to hear it. At least you have something.
Yeah.
So we don't want to hear it. You have something, I have nothing.
with my discussions of with the school system,
No, it's not.
it's very important because, you know, we put a lot of money in education, but the real problem is, a lot of people out in the rural part of the county just, they don't have any internet service. And so that's all great that you got this great service while you're in school, but when you go home to do your homework and try to get support, you're not able to do your homework or keep up with schoolwork, and that's a real issue across the county.
And as soon as somebody gets this subcommittee call, we'll start working on water.
We got it. We got that high speed internet up there.
I know you do.
I don't.
And that was done through Obama era funds. Yeah.
$50 million grant.
Yeah, and people use it, don't they?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Thanks, sir. Election Commission, Lori, we kind of covered everything unless y'all,
Well, we covered the voting machines. 2B is, our budget was reduced by about $195,000. That was for overtime, part-time, for next year's election cycle. We can't operate on what's been awarded us, so I would like to ask that that be put back. If not, then we'll have to come back to you.
that's what we said, when you're ready to hire the part-time,
Okay, and
Yeah,
then we know for
to
a
replace
fact,
to do the training thing we said.
yeah, we know for a fact our lady's leaving on September 17th, so it would be August 17th.
Okay, yeah, we'd already said that during the budget hearing, so you're good on
Okay.
that. You don't need approval from this committee to do that, because
Yeah,
that
we
was
Just
already
wanted to make
approved.
sure, and then we
Yeah.
found out yesterday that we've got another employee leaving on December 19th.
Okay, so
That we thought was
November,
gonna be next May, but, she had worked for the school board for some time, and they gave her credit for that.
then when November rolls around,
Oh, yeah.
do what you
Okay.
need, yeah, just do what you need to, and we'll get it straight.
Okay.
And then the overtime, we'll just kind of come up with that one as it goes. So just
So
give
you,
us a
we
yes.
just, but I'm gonna have to pay these people.
We'll have to pay them if they're
Yeah,
working.
no,
so
just, I mean, we'll
If
just.
she
get-
brings somebody on in and you guys have approved it, we'll just go ahead and put them
Okay,
on
I
got
just
that one.
wanted to keep you all informed.
I appreciate
It'll
it.
be like 30 days, won't be significant.
So we're good on that.
Shouldn't be any health issues.
Anybody have any questions for Lori while she's here? What about Matt? Just bugging that. All right.
No,
Thank
I
you.
have
Thank
paperwork
you.
in, so
Thank
David
you all.
Yes,
just
ma'am.
sign
Thank you
away.
very
Which
much.
one?
I
For 30
appreciate
days
it.
in advance.
Oh, send that
All right.
30 days.
That's all
Sorry
right.
about it.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have to know. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Denham, the next one is you.
Help! Ben and I are, pretty much, Ramona's working 60 hours a week. We have not found anybody part-time. We've decided what we're going to do is hire a law clerk, maybe 2 part-time law clerks, but we need the money in the budget to be able to do it, which was taken out before. So, and I also need it kind of redistributed where I can, you know, I feel like I need to reward Ben and Ramona for hanging in there. I mean,
The only thing I'd say on that is, if we get the HR director hired, they'll be a part of the pay plan study. And so we've kind of told everybody to hold off until that comes through. But the part-time work, we could definitely, if everybody's agreeable to that, get you that right now. But as far as salaries, we're trying really hard to just, I know we've been saying it for almost a year now. And at some point, we'll find the HR director, or we'll outsource the contract, the bids we've gotten, have it picked for us.
I think Mr. Holtz said he's trying to start looking at HR director with me, so we was talking about
So
that.
there was one or two we had a line on that might work out much the same way we stole somebody from Hendersonville. So there's some other people out there floating around. Make a motion that we get Ms. Sim the money for the
Town
part-time.
clerk, second.
Did you want another 15 added to your part-time, is that what it was, Leah?
Yeah.
She wanted, yeah.
I mean, I can't, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be ugly here, but I mean, I have two people. Ramona's working 60 hours a week. Ben's working a lot of time. His wife's about to have a baby, and I can't even let him go home and check on her. You know,
Do you want to give her a full-time or two, or more part-time?
Would you rather have a full-time
Have that
clerk or
full-time
two
back.
part-times?
It's more
I don't know
uninsurance.
because I can't even get anybody interviewed. That's
Because
how
Why don't we do
that
this? Why don't we,
works.
why don't we,
Give her the
why don't we set the money up so that way whichever works better for you, depending on who you can find. And then that way, if it's a full-time person, it works out good. If it's not, if it's two part-time people, but that way you have the freedom to kind of go whichever way you need to on that.
The reason I mention it is, if we give her money and she can't hire somebody, because right now, sometimes it's hard to find good part-time people, and the difference may be the benefits, it'll be health and TCRS, which is a significant amount of money, but she did give up a position there,
Yep.
so.
And that way we can.
My request is if we go ahead and adjust her part-time, and then if she comes back as a full-time person, just know we'll bring it back to the committee, because she'll need health and
Well, but
TCRS.
the only issue with that is, because I mean, it's like with law clerks, they need a job. You know, we put it out for people to respond, and within a week of us putting it out there, they'd already found other jobs. I'm not gonna have time to come back and,
Oh, no, you,
No,
it's
I'm
already
saying,
approved.
what
We're
I'm
already
saying,
approving it, Leah.
we'll go ahead and hire him, and he's already saying that the budget committee will approve it next month.
Yeah, well, if you need to hire full-time, just hire the full-time, and then we'll do it when you come back. That way,
Okay.
yeah, no, I get it. We can't, the days of being able to wait on qualified people are
or over.
at least for the next.
And the only
year
reason
or
I
two.
mention it, because when she comes back, in addition, you know,
Yeah.
this part, she'll need TCRS.
We'll need to adjust her bus.
There'll just be
or
TCRS,
retirement,
health and
everything else,
dental,
yeah.
so she'll need that for this full-time. Because it may be hard to find a part-time clerk, to be honest.
I don't think I will, that's
That's
the
what I'm saying, she
problem. I
needs a
mean,
full-time back.
the part-time people that we've talked to either want a ridiculous amount of money or ridiculous hours, or wanna work from home, or things like that. That's the issue. But that's why, you know, I wanted to be able to give, you know, I gave up Serpil in April on the belief
That you were getting somebody
that we were
sooner.
getting somebody. So these people in my office have worked a ridiculous amount of time since then, and I see no let up in the future. You know,
So she needs a full-time person.
Yep, full-time.
Sounds good.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Pass unanimously.
We'll put that on the old business full-time approved, that way we know what she did.
All right, the IT one, Dennis was asked about getting the chamber done and where you could be outside of the chamber and hear it. He's got a bid for that. It's oh, go ahead.
There's 235, 237, let me just give you the short.
It's, yeah.
It's going to basically replace what Mr. Kemp's got and put the same thing in here. It's not going to be able to run with the button. He said it would be cost prohibitive. He looked at it, not even sure the technology's out there. Which means somebody's gonna have to run it just like the OWL. So you're gonna have that same issue unless we're gonna hire somebody. The other issue, talking to Dennis, the big problem now with the changes seems to be people hearing out in the hall. Is that what the issue is? I think it's what Dennis said he's heard a lot
Because
from.
we've got video out.
He said you could replace the speakers in here and out there significantly cheaper than spending the 237. So you may want to, my thought process, send it back to General Ops to make sure you're getting what you guys actually want. I'm not sure you're getting what you want at this point.
And that's what I said, do we want to just pass it on the full commission or just send it back to general ops? But I think we're all in agreement that there's no way we're gonna spend $237,000.
And that way, the
on
commissioners,
speakers.
the
Yeah.
commissioners that was needing changes, they can go to general ops and tell them exactly what they're requesting, because I'm not sure what Dennis got back is exactly what everybody's wanting.
I'm
to
fine
do.
if we, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Jerry, you got it.
So, when I was on the technology ad hoc committee, we had two bids. One's for 9,000. What that bid you're talking about is a comprehensive for this room
There's two of them, yeah.
and out there and the veranda area or whatever.
That's what I was given.
So But we originally, the bids for this room, one of them didn't even break down and itemize. I looked at the packet, didn't have it itemized. The other one had it for $45,000 for this room. Previously, we had it for a $9,000 bid and a $11,000 bid for this room. Simple push button, that's what Dennis spec'd out. Have a camera, set a lockbox, you can record it, and it's just pretty foolproof. So that was already, I'm not exactly sure where that went in the process, but that definitely was
I'll check with him.
discussed.
He told me there was
Yeah.
some kind of problem with it, but that's what I'm saying, maybe you need to send it back to
Well,
general.
I'm just saying, that's, when I looked at that, I was like, I wouldn't approve it. I'm like, I'd be against that.
Yeah,
Because it's stupid, because like, we already had a bid for a high bid of $11,000, and you jumped to $45,000 from the same company just for this room. So what else is being overinflated everywhere else?
So maybe the easiest thing is if it's, Mr. Manfield's got a concern, if he was to email it to Gen Ops and send it back to Gen Ops. That way they can get the exact specs and we can,
Of what-
instead of
well,
getting
and
quotes,
here's
we
the
can
thing.
actually bid, it's not that expensive.
We've done
bid
a
and see
quote,
what
yeah,
happens.
because Dennis got a quote for
could
video,
actually
audio,
bid
to
it,
record it,
nice
do all that kind of stuff and play it out there. I think if we really sat down and had a request, it's just gonna be to put speakers out there so people can hear better, because we have.
For
video.
that portion, that's
Yeah.
what
What,
it's
what
gonna
is wrong with this system?
This one, I'm fine with this one, it's just,
Nobody uses it.
Well-
So
That's the problem.
Using it right now?
yeah,
That's because I'm here setting it up. Nobody else sets it up. So.
we did.
But my thought is if we got the actual
Choose to do what they want.
specs sent to Gen Ops and then
Yep.
if Gen Ops approved it or Mr. Mansfield went to Gen Ops, they figured out what they wanted, then I'll actually have purchasing to bid it and we will have
Yeah.
whatever bids
Yeah.
come
We'll
out.
put it on the agenda for Gen
Okay,
Ops
sounds
and.
good.
We can
everyone
actually do a hard
notified
bid
it's
for
gonna be
Yeah,
on the
that
agenda.
makes
We'll have to
sense.
hard bid it
It's
anyway.
fine.
Okay.
We'd already approved the $15,000 for that. That wasn't spent. I should forward you an email response when asked about it in November
But that-
2019.
That was almost 2 years ago now.
That they
There's no
lapsed
way
back
we'll
in.
get it.
There's no way that bid will
So-
be coming.
Yeah, just knowing how bad costs are, I can tell you from
They'll lapse.
how badly we pay for stuff in Nashville, that,
An appropriation lapses at the end of the year, so we'd have to rebudget whatever
All right.
you guys, unless you got a PO or, something to tie it out.
I feel like such a peacock right now.
We just wanted to
But
clarify.
that's my thought
Thanks,
process,
sir.
and you
Yep.
guys may
No,
have a
that's
different
what,
one.
Michelle's
That'll
gonna
get
put it
you all
back
the-
so we can move on from that one
Just
without.
talking to
bug or anything.
Mr.
Yeah.
Clary, he wasn't 100% sure exactly what portions to keep, not to keep.
Well, and that's- we'll just
He had the
send it
two big
back.
bids, I asked him for everything, he gave me the two big bids.
Yeah,
and
just
I'm
send it
not
back, we'll
We'll
revet
see.
it.
Yeah, one was pretty complete, not itemized.
Next one,
was
risk,
nice.
yeah, risk management. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I'm sorry, we got back the bids for, or not the bids, the actual bills for our reinsurance on the building contacts. They were up like 43%. We did not anticipate it being that much. Nobody would have anticipated that. We really don't have a choice. And then the second one's the same thing. We budgeted 10 based on what we were being told by the insurance carriers preliminary, but it came back 16 because they gotta go back to the
Motion to
carrier.
approve and approve those.
Really don't have a
Second.
choice. They just came out
Yeah.
way above normal.
Everything's going up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Please.
motion to
All in
approve.
favor of us getting stuck?
Yep.
Aye. All right, pass
It's called
unanimously.
inflation that we don't have.
Yeah.
But this is-
EMA.
That's the same thing.
Yeah,
He
Chief
needs
called me on
insurance.
this one. It's a deputy they had that they made during COVID, and he's behind the other ones. They want to just get him equal pay with the others. It's like $6,000 a year.
That's the insurance, isn't it?
No, they got that, no, that's the one.
Yeah, that's it.
We're on insurance right now.
It's the insurance for the new command post.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There needs to be reinsurance on it. Usually if you buy something like that of your
Yeah.
own, there needs to be,
Right.
it's not covered under our main reinsurance, Aaliyah, which is correct.
Yeah, I
When
think
she found
Tim
out,
Phillips
recommended him to
not
buy the
found
insurance
out.
and it doesn't need to be
Yeah,
bought.
yes.
Yeah, he texted me, it was commenting about $1 million piece of property that we
Yeah,
own
we
that
need
did-
insurance.
Yeah, that
Motion
that
to
he was
approve.
making.
Yeah, second.
Second, whatever.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. None opposed, passed unanimously.
Item 7, if everybody recalls, and I don't know, I have a memory like this sometimes, but when there was discussion of funding the SROs, after they were funded, they came back, the grant where 35,000 would be funded. COVID shut it down. We received about 32,000 that year, 30-some thousand. We received 180 the past year. I think the sheriff's department almost forgot about it, but I went back and mentioned to them that there was funds out there because they do need vehicles, equipment, and uniforms for the SRO officers. The 180 they're asking for came from the 210 that was really for salaries, but they're already funded, so they're requesting to buy equipment with it. But that was on the original, I think maybe on the commission floor too, about the grant.
I so move.
Second.
Go ahead, Mo.
Where are they? How many SRO officers do they have?
Last I checked, they're still, I I thought 7, was it 10?
I believe 10, I can't swear, but
I
I
know
know
he
they're
has.
training a lot right
Yeah,
now.
he had
because
hired
there's
some and he was
several.
waiting, they weren't
They
done
can't
yet,
get them in
so-
the schooling as quick, they only can
Because of
do
COVID.
Yeah.
47 at a time or something.
Yeah, with
all
getting
over
them
the state.
certified.
COVID
Some
slowed
came
them
from out of
down.
state, so.
COVID has slowed them down because it shut down a lot of the schools and postponed it.
He's actually getting close to the end though, finally.
Where does that money go?
He just carries over each
Goes
time.
into your fund balance to help offset other costs that we've been.
And he gives it back every year.
That's the reason we got through COVID because.
Because, well, honestly, the reason we make it is because Sonny doesn't try and spend it all the last minute.
And-
So,
and-
I mean, really.
Not to say anything, but the only fortunate thing about that, because we hadn't hired those yet, is really helped offset a lot of COVID losses and kept this county go through it a little better. If we'd already hired those, we would have.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item B is COVID is ramped back up in the jail. They,
It's an
under emergency, had to
PO.
spend
I had to do it.
$62,000.
Yeah, I so move.
We,
Second.
I'm asking for this to be spent out of local capital because these were UV lamps and now that are capitalizable.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. All right.
8 and 9 are flow through grants from the libraries.
Group and
Motion to
approve.
group and approve. Second.
All right, any
Can I ask a
discussion?
question?
Absolutely, Mr. Committee.
When we get the Cumberland Connect, will we have to have these hotspots?
Yeah, we're gonna be
Well,
done with
we-
hotspots.
In 2024, we won't need hotspots anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Question, do y'all want to fund the hotspots?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
The next one is the carryover for the AOC grant. And then number 11, they're not the same, but it's actually the other carryovers for the 2021 fiscal year.
Group and approve.
Second.
All in favor, oh, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
One bit of
Okay, sir.
disclosure, these are the ones that were pressing. We'll have a lot more carriers next month because we're
Oh,
closing the
sure.
book through the end of the month. And these are the ones we felt pretty certain about the amounts of people need their projects to go on.
Yes, sir. All right, anything weird on the transfers?
Well, the first one is the county clerk's moving money from overtime and part-time. His used to be combined together, so when he was working up his budget, he has step scales and stuff, so we started with January and it didn't get adjusted. He also does other step scales, so they weren't a lot. He wants to move with the correct lines.
Boils down to Mr. Kim's short timer.
Item B is the Gallatin Library. They have they have a 40-hour employee. They're wanting to make 32. They want to move $900 to part-time, and they want to use the additional to give raises to, I think, some of the other libraries.
The only thing I was gonna say on that one is, do we need to wait until they get this czar in place? Okay.
The libraries are?
I've been waiting on that. All right, group and approve all of them?
And the
Oh,
only thing,
go ahead,
the
David,
only thing I
sorry.
missed from Mr. Young, and this one's fine, is under the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, yeah,
Any
that's,
full-time employee has to make a minimum amount compared to the insurance, so any time that's allowed to be done, and this one's fine because the hourly rate's higher. If the hourly rate and the number of hours worked isn't high enough, then we are actually below the amount that we can charge for single policy and affordable care. We're considered non-compliant.
We just wanna make sure that if you did it with a lower paid employee, that there's gonna be extra.
There may
costs.
not be able to do that.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll say group and approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Pass unanimously.
Item
Ms.
two is
Denham, anything
non-salary.
correct? Oh, go ahead, David.
Item 2 is non-salary transfers, nothing unusual.
Motion to approve.
Yes, ma'am. Second. Any discussion? Looks like a beat down room. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimously. Ms. Denham, anything weird on the refunds?
No, I think that's $56 we can,
Motion to group and
They're
approve.
TMA too.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimously.
Motion
Thank
to
y'all.
adjourn.
See you, everybody. Thank you again.
You still there somewhere?
They are.
I got an email from
Using
them.
that statement.
Good.
Called the state.